Firstly, I just wanted to start this off by saying thank you to the people that have reached out and listened to the first two episodes. It's encouraging to know that the small audience of people listening and the things that I write down in my phone are helping people understand themselves and giving some context. It fills me with joy and makes me happy that the words that I have to share can help others in an impactful way. And to me, that means a lot. And if you're starting to figure out now the way that this show or episodes kind of go, is I will just sit and talk and write or discuss things that I've written down in my phone. And today's episode and video is a piece I wrote a while ago, again, from a self-reflection amongst an experience that I had. And I've titled this poem, Finding Grace. To hold resentment and spite towards the achievements of the people around you in the absence of your own personal successes is akin to you yourself drinking the devil's poisonous elixir, hoping it will harm the other person. Whereas having the capacity to revel in their success and join them in their moment of happiness while continuing on your own journey, knowing that your time will come should you continue to do the hard work, have the resilience and self-belief that good things will come to you through time and work ethic. This is where you move through life with peace, content, and delight. This is the art of finding grace in one's own journey. And I want to take a moment here for you to just take a breath and think about a time in your life where you yourself have felt that sensation of resentment and spitefulness towards the success of someone else around you. And the reason that I ask you to do that is not because I'm trying to show ill will towards maybe the way that you felt in that moment. I'm asking because to do this, to go deeper and kind of explore one's own mind, to also let you know that you're not alone in those feelings as well. Hence, where this reflection came from is that was me reflecting on myself and how I felt at a certain time in my life and a particular moment. And I want to share a story to kind of give some context as to where this story came about and how I kind of made this reflection. And it was the 2017 National Track Cycling Championships, and we were in Brisbane for the very first time. And I've been riding for quite a long time at this point and really trying to break through to the next phase and the next thing in my career. And I remember after one of the days on sprint qualifying, I had raced and I had done an okay time. It wasn't a personal best or anything amazing by my high standards that I hold myself to. And there was someone else in the competition that they had an exceptional performance and result, and they had kind of just come back into the sport. And I really remember thinking to myself that, I felt bad towards myself and frustration that this person has gone and achieved something that I had hoped I had achieved myself and got this amazing performance. Now, this isn't to say that they went on to win the competition and they didn't win it. It's just where they were at in their journey, to me at the time, felt like it was quite new, whereas I had been in it for quite a long time. And even as I was thinking of the things that I was going to discuss in this episode, I only had the revelation that throughout that time, I actually didn't even give myself the grace to realize the journey that I had been on to even get to that point of racing. That while it was early in 2017, for me, in 2016, I had a massive accident at work, which put me on the sidelines for like 4 or 5 months with a torn quad and some other damage as well. And I had only been back riding for about 3-4 months at that time. So it just showcased to me that, when emotions take over, that's kind of the only point and thing you can kind of hyperfixate on. And where I'm going with this point is, whilst in that moment I was feeling down about myself and my performances, and I was feeling a level of not necessarily hatefulness towards the person. It was more inward focusing. That's just the way that I am. I typically focus more of my negative emotions inwardly, not outwardly. And I wrote a little quote down saying that resentfulness only harms the person holding it, which effectively was me. And where it really impacted me and affected me was the fact that when I reflect on that 2017 state team, it was one of the best state teams I had been a part of because of the successes of everybody else in the team. We had junior athletes go on and win medals. We had senior athletes go on and win medals. And I believe that was the same nationals as well, that the men's team pursuit won the team pursuit in like this most emphatic battle. And although I can sit here today now, nearly 9 years past the event, and see the wonder and the beauty in the experience it was itself, in the moment, I was harming myself by holding on to this belief and being resentful towards, I guess, the achievements of another, that I wasn't able to truly, fully immerse myself in that moment and find the joy and success in the successes of others. And it wasn't until after the fact that I really reflected on that and then became aware of the fact that it's actually not a really good way of going about things in general. And the reason I say that I wanted you to kind of think of something and find a moment, because we all have had those moments, and that's just normal. That's human nature. We're not alone in those thoughts and feelings. However, I found that it doesn't serve me a purpose. It doesn't make me feel good about myself. It doesn't make me feel any better about my situation. If anything, it just makes me channel more anger within myself and more frustration that I then start to withdraw further within myself. And then I just miss out on opportunities. And again, like anything in life, there comes learning, there comes experiences. And I learned from that experience, and I learned this isn't me, this isn't who I am, and this isn't a quality that I align with, and nor do I want to be this kind of a person. I want to move forward with grace. I want to have compassion for myself and understand that en route to my goals, there will be difficulties and there will be challenges. But if I can find success or find joy in other people's successes, it will then fill me with a sense of pride and gratitude to then move through life and move through my sporting journey, knowing that my success will come should I continue to do the work and stick out. That just put in the work, just stick to the goal that I'd set myself to, and it will come eventually, which it has. I have the luxury now of having the hindsight to know that, okay, it did play out in the end for me. However, in that moment when I am so emotional, it is hard to see what it can truly be. And I think it's really impactful as well, because there are a few quotes that kind of really resonate as well. One being amor fati, which is like an ancient Stoic and Latin phrase, which is about the appreciation of one's journey and finding joy in fate and just accepting things as they are, not as they had or should have been or could have been. It's just, this is the way that it is. This is the way that I will accept it to be. There's also another one called, let me get it up. What was it called? Mudita. Mudita. It's a ancient Sanskrit saying, and it's to find joy in the happiness and success of others. And it's been a learning experience, and it's been a journey to kind of take this approach. However, I have found that since taking that approach many years ago, I now see in others, when they hold spitefulness and resentment towards the success of others, it leaves them stuck in that place, and there's no room for progression and growth and learning and moving forward. They can often play the victim card and want to stay in that position. And I now have the advantage to see that within myself, that had I have stayed there, that probably would have been me. And knowing that that was never going to serve me, I think I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to come out of that the other side and learn and be willing to open myself up to finding joy in the success of other people. And since doing so, I can say that the outlook on life is far greater. And, doing the coaching, being a more senior member within my team currently, and just having been on other teams as well, when someone else achieves a success and I can find joy in that, it also fills me with a sense of pride and joy. I have nothing to do with the result. I have nothing to do with the outcome, but just seeing what it means to that person gives me the sense of like, I'm happy to see them happy. Therefore, that gives me a sense of pride and joy. And I can share on a story a few weeks ago where a friend of mine told me about an exciting opportunity he's got coming up with photography stuff and content creation in terms of just around those kinds of things. And when he told me, I knew what it meant to him. And my response was one of like just joy and happiness towards him and for him as well. And like, yes, I have nothing to do with what he's doing, but hearing him and knowing what that means to him then means I find pride and joy in my own satisfaction in my own journey, which is what I take a lot of when it comes to coaching as well, is that I'm just there to facilitate a training environment and provide support to help people on their own journey and their own path of success. And when they do achieve success, it fills me with joy to know that I played a very small part in their journey. And it's not to take ownership, and they don't even need to know how I feel or, know that like I take necessarily an immense amount of joy from it. It's more just I feel good within myself if I find joy in the success of other people. That's the reason that I love sport. That's the reason I love being in these environments and being on these teams and seeing what it means to those people, putting myself in their shoes and knowing what it would mean to myself and what it has meant to myself when I have achieved goals and achieved outcomes that I had set out to do. And since taking that approach, I feel that life has just opened up. There is far more peace within myself. I find there are still moments where I do slip and those things do come up, and I'm only human. We are all only human and we all suffer from those things. Whereas just being able to catch myself in those moments and remind myself of, okay, well, these are the values that I have in high regard. These are the things that I want to move towards. And this is the person that I want to be, because we've all been around those people that can be quite downtrodden and bring down the energy. And it's like, if I share some exciting news with someone and I know that the response I'm going to get is one of negativity, it's like, well, why would I share that? So then why would I want to be the person that is exactly like that? And it has been a learning journey and an experience, one I'm incredibly grateful for. And as I said, I think we all have had those moments in life. So just take a moment to kind of reflect, think back on, how did it make you feel in those moments? What was coming up? What were the emotions, and what was the true meaning behind what you were really seeking? And I think it comes back to the fact that sometimes things just take time. They're not going to happen overnight. For some people, their success stories are far quicker, and for others, they take a lot longer. For myself, I know it's been one that has taken over 2 decades to even find what I would define as some level of success. Yet within that, the person that I have become and person I am because of that is where I find my own joy in my own journey, knowing that I have faced these struggles, I have faced these demons and tough times within my own mind, yet because I'm willing to be open and learn, I will come out of it the other side stronger. And I appreciate that the most, which is why I write these reflections and take the time to think and go deep within, to then be able to sit here and share those thoughts and emotions that I have and the things that have come up and the lessons that I've learned. And hopefully I can impact you yourself and give you some hope that you can change, things can change. And when we take an approach to life where it is a lot more peaceful and respectful and finding joy in the happiness of others, that quote, peace, content and delight is a Paul Conti quote. I think life is just much more beautiful, so much more joy is to be found, and life just becomes easy. So that's all I have to say. Nice and quick. Thanks for listening.